The opinions expressed on the following sponsored program are strictly those of the host, guests, and callers, and not necessarily those of this station, its staff, management, or sponsors.
Welcome to the wonderful world of wellness with Dr. Andy Mencia. This medical program heard from 7 to 7:30 each Saturday right here on WSBR 740 AM is brought to you by the Adult and Geriatric Center under the medical direction of geriatrician Dr. Andy Mencia. Here we go.
Good morning.
Good morning, everybody. Good morning.
Talking about Buddhism and the cat and the dog and the worms.
Well, it's interesting because I know that in your practice, Dr. Mencia, and of course we're here with the wonderful world of wellness, and we're talking about people's attitudes, of course, about their surroundings. And I was asking because I just saw a documentary about food and the animals, the way they're now taking care of the livestock and all. But I think you bring up a very good point. You started talking about people and things really, animals in their natural habitat.
Right.
And
I mean, I love my birds. I have the birds, and my patient love the birds.
I love them.
And every day I sort of apologize to them. I'm sorry I keep you on the cage because, ideally what you want to do is have a big open space so they can be themselves, And when you have an animal, we was talking about one of my friends, she's an animal lover. And she said, we shouldn't be killing animals and we shouldn't be doing this. We are so inhumane when we do that. I said, well, do you have animals? She said, yeah, I have cats. I said, well, what about your cats? Where do you keep your cats? She said, in my apartment, of course, in my condominium. And she lives in a beautiful 5-star place. And I said, well, do you think that's the natural habitat for the cat? The cat should be let go, let him go into the tree and play with the mouse and eat what he wants and play with the worm. That's the natural. And, you don't buy human food. You let them eat what they want to eat. And then they come back to you. And a lot of other countries that they have pets, like cats and dogs, they are free to go. In Germany, when I go there, you see so many people with dogs. They don't use leash. Dogs are not on a leash. You carry a leash if the dog is have not been trained, have bad behavior. But the dog, they just walk free, and dog play with dog or bark at each other or whatever they're gonna do. But dogs are dogs, and they just walk out, and the human walk and.
We have domesticated.
Master.
Yeah, we have domesticated. Well, I wanted to ask you, when you came in this morning, you were seeing you're always peppy, and he's always so good looking with his beautiful tie and shirt. So he always likes to do that so that his patients, it's interesting that I'm sure your patients really appreciate it. But
it's called dignity to your profession.
Yes, and even that I've been watching the Heat game. You notice that the coaches are always dressed in coat and tie. And I didn't understand that.
They have dignity for their profession. That's
It's beautiful. So I'm asking you, what happened that might be interesting in your medical office?
Proud. Oh my God! I feel like sometimes something happened to you in your life that make you feel that it's like when you drive in a car and you are in a road and you are trying to get from point A to point B, but you are in a place you don't speak the language, you don't understand the sign, and you're just driving lost, right? So sometimes the thing we want to do in life is driving in the unknown road, but you see things that you recognize, say, oh, look, I'm on the right track, I'm doing the right thing. And yesterday, that was one of the moments that happened in my life. Because I created this concept. And I remember when I first was coming with the concept of creating that, there were people that would say, it doesn't make sense. Just why don't you be a doctor, practice by yourself? Why would you want the headache on you? And people would look at the headache, and I would look at the end result. And I say, if I create this center with all the specialists and the patient come in and the patient is the center of the circle and we are all around there. And I say, it's like when I go to Beijing, to China, and I go to a Chinese restaurant, they have those round table, and you have all kinds of food in the middle, and you can just rotate the middle of the table, and you choose what you want, and you leave what you don't want. I say, when the patient come, I had a patient yesterday that came in, and I say, he said he want to have the cardiologist do an evaluation on him. He has no problem, except a very strong family history of heart disease, but he didn't know how to come out and say it to me. So I'm looking at his history. I say, you know what I want you to do? I want you to see the cardiologist. There's nothing wrong with your heart, but I want to do an assessment. He said, oh, Dr. Mencia, you know how I've been meaning to want to ask you, and I don't know how to ask you to do that for me. I'm so happy you brought it up. So I told him, yeah, we're going to do that for you. We're going to have the cardiologist see you. And he's so happy. He said, okay, give me the next appointment because I really want to get checked because of my family history.
And he didn't have to go down the street to another doctor, to a cardiologist, right?
And the guy is 39 years old. It's not like a 89-year-old man. This is a 39-year-old guy. But we had another young guy in his 40s that have open heart surgery. And I feel that other guy that just got married, they have no kids, they just got married recently, and he wasn't feeling well, and we did an EKG, we sent him to the hospital with the open heart surgery, he did fine, and he's healing perfectly, and I'm so happy because I feel like I saved not only a life, but I maintain quality of life in this other young guy in his 40s. So sometimes we just go on our business, and we don't want to be touched, or we don't want the blood pressure to be checked, and we don't want the pulse to be touched. Just leave me alone. And it's you have to be proactive if you want to live a good life.
And the one thing that you said, though, is, and you said so all the time, is that your dream, of course, was to have a practice where someone would have all the specialties right there. And that's I'm sure that's important. But when you first brought in a dentist, that's a little unusual.
That's very unusual. And, this week, that was the eye-opener for me. That, oh my God, I am driving on the right road. I'm on the right path. We brought a dentist, and in the afternoon, there was a emergency call to the second floor. So, of course, everybody from the medical downstairs ran up to the second floor to attend to the emergency. And there was a young guy in his probably late 50s, early 60s, I would say, on the floor. And he's white like a shirt, pale, on the floor. And, of course, we went to put him down, and I told the dental department, okay, move out of the way. Let us take over now. So there are two guys one holding his head, and the other guy is on top of him, and they don't know what to do. And they say, okay, get out of the way. Let us take over. So we went in there, and we elevated the leg, and I asked the dental department as we stabilized the patient, make sure everything was okay, listen to his heart and his lungs, and examine the patient neurologically. And he was intact. He was able to talk back to me, and he was very coherent. And his wife was in another dental room. They both were getting work done. So his wife was in another dental room. The wife wanted to be in the room. I said, she can watch, but just everybody get out of my way so we can, see what's going on and see what we need to do next. And the wife was in the room, and I say, he seems to be very stable and elevating his feet. He said, oh, I feel so much better. I feel like the blood is coming back to my brain now. I feel a lot better now. I said, well, stay there for another 3 or 4 minutes. And I asked the dentist, I said, what happened? And he said, well, he was fine. We did an extraction. We just put one tooth out. He was fine. He watched the extraction. He was watching golf there on TV. And just when he got up, then he went down to he almost hit the floor. The two guys that were in the room heard the patient on the way down and put him down on the floor, so there was no harm done, no fracture or anything like that. So I asked the wife, had this ever happened to him before? She goes, yeah, my husband is crazy. Every time they draw blood on him, they had to lie him down. He cannot watch blood. So I said, okay. So when he got up, he saw the field, the surgical field where the dentist was working, and say, oh, he saw blood, and he probably had one of those syncopal episodes because he saw the blood, the field, and where the extraction was done, and that he passed out. And the wife comes to me and say, and she grabbed me by the shoulder, and I say, Dr. Mencia, I am so happy this happened in this office, because if it would have been any other dental office, they would have been calling 911. I would be going to an emergency room. I could not have gotten my dental work done. I would be so afraid of my husband having something happening to him. And this happened to him all the time. But try to explain that if they call 911 and something happened. Thank God that you guys are here. And I say, I look at God and I say, thank you, God, for helping me. Of course,
this is your whole dream, to be able to take care of people like this.
And that was such a great experience. And the dental department was so happy. And one of the dental assistants say, oh my God, I'm so happy I work here.
Yeah, well, I bet your dental assistant, and she just said, she raved, and she just said she's never seen anything like this, the way that you all work there. Everybody's that way at your office, as a matter of fact. And I just have to say it's a beautiful, friendly, but a very smart place. And I know that we were talking before the show.
We are surrounded by smart people.
You are. Well, let me tell everybody. I know you like to hear Dr. Mencia, and I know he always has wonderful stories, and I know you respect him. So let me give you a phone number. Even if you already have a physician, I think you ought to really go there and see what they do.
Take a look around.
Have a look around. Look at the birds. But come in. Everyone is so wonderful. 954-489-1345. 954-489-1345. The Adult and Geriatric Medical Center. It's right there on East Commercial Boulevard in Fort Lauderdale, very close to Holy Cross Hospital. And it is a very special place. We are so honored to have Dr. Mencia here. And
we open on Saturday.
Oh, open on Saturday.
And we are doing home visits.
And
some of the audience that listen to us, they have called and requested and say, I'm so happy I need, because they've been listening to us, but they don't, they are unable to go to a doctor, and they have requested, and we have fulfilled their request.
Yeah, I'm so happy. I think that you have started something there that you talk about. I don't know if you ever dreamt of that. I know you wanted to have everyone together, but to me, that's the best thing.
My concept had been to accomplish as a team the whole spectrum of healthcare. So what do I mean by that? I mean that if a person is able to come to the office, we want to take care of them properly. If they are unable to come, so we have this outreach program where we can go to the home and take care of them so they stay in the community. I think nursing home, we should try to abolish that. There are so many nursing homes. It's a huge business. It's a huge, huge business, nursing home. And if we do good medical care, we can have the minimum amount of nursing home in the country. And for a well-developed country, we should be ashamed of having so many nursing homes. We're talking about healthcare and cutting costs and doing things. Take care of the human being in the community and prevent them from getting sick, and you won't need any nursing home.
Right, and there are a lot of home health agencies that can really handle someone at home.
Exactly. There's so many support things. The senior helper, they come and they bring a companion in to help the person, and the home health care agency can come in and bring a nurse and physical therapy. All of those services can come to the home and help the patient out. And then you have the outpatient services in the community, not only like mine, but also physical therapy and all of these services that when you put them together, when they work in harmony, then the end result is that those patients are going to stay in the community. And I tell you, I used to have a house in Sea Ranch, And to me, it was hard to give up the house. When my kids wanted to go to Wellington to ride horses and I had to give up the house, for me, it wasn't easy. That's where my kids grew up. And I kept telling my family, I said, my kids grew up here. I love this place. This was my first house and forget about it. Give the house up. Come on, grow up. Okay. By just moving, you buy a place, you get a place, you live in a place, and you want to stay there. And it's nice to settle down. Some people don't like to settle down.
I like to settle down, right.
It's nice to settle down. So once my patients settle down in the community and they are happy where they live, then I think my job and the rest of the healthcare team is to, let's keep you there. Let's make sure you stay there. And we don't care if you have an HMO or excellent insurance. If you are at home and you need the help, we're going to go there and we're going to help you as long as it is an insurance that will accept us as provider. If not, we can still help you because there are many insurances out there. There are many providers, so you can always change insurance. And I don't mean go from something cheap to something expensive. You can go from something cheap to something cheap, but I would say, they will allow X provider to come in. And I have a great news for you.
What is? Oh, did they?
Yeah.
Did you get? Oh,
no. I interview.
Okay.
I met with, I should say, a neurologist. Now, neurologists, but now neurologists, they are specializing in different things. You have the neurologists that only do epilepsies, and you have neurologists that only do Alzheimer's disease, and you have neurologists that only do movement disorders. This neurologist, he has two specialties. He's a neurologist and a oncologist, so she's a neuro-oncologist.
No kidding.
And so we're sitting and we're talking, and she say, what I want to do in my life is be able to go and take care of the patient and reach out to those patients. I said, will you do home visit with me? And she said, yes, I will do home visit with you. I said, really? And you go to the facility? Yes, I will go to the facility. Wherever you guys go, I will do it with you. And I feel like, oh my God.
Oh my
God. I said,
it's unusual, a neurologist with oncology.
It's not official. It's not official yet. But if this happened, then I can say, hey, I have a dermatologist I can bring to the home. I have a podiatrist I can bring to the home. A lot of podiatrists do home visits, so that's no big deal. But a dermatologist, a neurologist, a geriatrician.
Wait. But you said
Hello.
no, but it's not a big deal. The difference is, however, that podiatrist is not going as
Exactly.
a podiatrist.
They're
going under the medical supervision of Dr. Mencia.
Right.
I mean, I just give you a little instance. My husband's has some macular degeneration in one eye, and they've been using shots, and so he has a ophthalmologist, but then he goes to the specialist. Well, they were asking him about, has your medication changing? And I don't pay too much attention, but I knew that it did change. And Bill said, well, I don't know, or something. And I said, well, wait a minute. Didn't the other doctor report that? They looked. No, I said.
No.
Well, they should have.
Exactly.
You can't rely on what he.
Exactly.
And
I tell my patient, I say, look, I have a podiatrist that can come to your house as part of the team. I say, oh no, I have a podiatrist that come there already. And I say, and I keep my mouth shut. Okay, that's what you want. That's okay. But in reality, you are so right, Anita, because it's not to have a podiatrist and to have a dentist. And you have a team. I want my dentist to communicate with me and say, I'm doing 3 extractions. Is that okay? And I'm going to say, no. I have to get my patient off the blood thinner. I have to give the patient antibiotic to protect the heart. I have to do this, and then you can do your extraction.
See? Why is this not more common? No, seriously.
Because healthcare grew up as not as a unity, as individuals. So people go to medical school, and you put your sign out there, Dr. So-and-so PA. And when I was going to open my office, I said, I don't even want my name on the title of the office. I don't want my name, because I don't want to be the past. I want to move toward the future. Mm-hmm. So instead of having my name, I'm going to start with a company name, where people can feel free to join this company And if I'm on the right track, if my dream is good, then let other people come and join this and help the community in the way they should be helped. Even, when you go to a doctor that belongs to a hospital group, it's a group, but it's not a real group. It's a group because they have a one owner. But what they do, let's say a hospital, when they start buying physician, they go to a cardiologist and they say, we buy your practice. You can stay where you are. You can still practice medicine there, except when you order tests and everything is going to come under us now. So it become a partnership. But it's not a real group. No. A real group is when you bring people together. And then when I wanted to create my center, I even look at Cleveland Clinic and Mayo Clinic. I look at the major hitters that they have quote-unquote groups. And I say, well, this is not a real group. If you see the primary in the Cleveland Clinic or Mayo Clinic or any major hospital, major institution, you go to Suite 101 and you see the primary. And the primary say, well, I think you should go and see let's use your husband case. You go to Suite 202 and see the eye doctor. And the eye doctor say in 202, say, I think you have macular degeneration. Go to Suite 308 now. But 308 and 202, they are not even communicating with each other. So what's the big deal?
You're absolutely right.
The idea is to bring people together. Let's bring people, let's communicate. And we, a lot of time when we are in the hall with the podiatrist saying, we need to do an arterial ultrasound on this patient. I think the patient has problem with circulation. Patient already has a little wound. It might open up and become something. So we do the arterial ultrasound. We start the patient on the right supplement or medication or the combination of both. Get wound care involved, get the nurse to come to the house, and that little wound will not become an amputation. It will heal by itself. And yesterday I have this wonderful Greek lady that came to me. And I go into the room, and usually I'm the one that walks to the patient
and hug them. I know you do.
And kiss them.
Right.
She say, and she's sitting on the chair. She say, "Wait a second, Dr. Mencia." And she get off the chair and she say, "I want to give you a hug and I want to give you a kiss." I was going to do that for you. They say, "No, I want to do it for you." So she come and hug me and kiss me, and she say, "The injection you've been putting on my leg have closed my wound finally." And she had surgery about 4 or 5 years ago in Miami and have skin graft. And there was some foreign body in there that they left. And we have been removing the foreign body and injecting her. And she still has some foreign body. So I'm going to send her to one of my consultant surgeons to get them out. But at least the skin closed down. So she said, I don't have to worry about my bed getting full of blood or anything like that. At least my skin is closed down. And I'm so happy finally. Because I didn't feel like a woman walking around. I always have to wear those long dresses just to cover that wound because, it embarrassed me.
Do you see what you're doing here, though, which is, I mean, I know that you're an outstanding medical physician. You have all these ideas, but you also are a friend, and you also are caring and loving. And I think that's as important about your medical practice than any of the other things you've done. Really, it's wonderful to have all the doctors and all the specialists, but if you were not the way you are, even though you were smart, you watched over everything, it still wouldn't be the same.
It wouldn't be.
It's who you are and the joy of life and the love that you give, and I've seen it over and over and over at your center. I mean, the woman at the front. It's a newer person, and I complimented her. I was watching her and listening to her, and she took such care. She was so beautiful because that's the most, I'm talking about that.
Yes,
and
Elizabeth.
And she's so sweet, but that's where it all starts.
Exactly.
Too. And
I tell them, I educate them. I tell them, I say, she look at me, I say, you're supposed to be here like my wife. You stand in front of this office, you are my wife, you are my nurse's wife, you are everybody's wife here.
That's right.
You are everybody's wife in this office, number one. Number two, you are tower control. I say, have you been on the airport and you have the tower control and they tell you who's going to land, who's going to take off, who's going to park the plane, who's going to do this? you are tower control. You have a lot of responsibility. So you have to make sure when the patient come in that they are all taken care of, that nobody's neglected, that if somebody need a glass of water or something, you have some, that the TV is on the right channel, that the volume is not too low or not too high. You are tower control. And she takes her job so seriously.
She does, and she's wonderful. And of course, we haven't let you talk. Maybe one day we're just going to let you do the show with me, but but she's going to be there for you to make sure that you have the time to do the kinds of things you're so good at.
She's going to be my right hand.
Yeah, and we're so happy to have. All started here. You brought this beautiful little blonde, gorgeous woman in here. How long ago? A year or 2 years?
Yeah, they kick her out from Russia, and they kick her out from Russia. I say, we don't want her no more. I say, bring her to me. I'll take care of her.
And she was very shy, and now she is really feeling, I think, and that's under your tutelage
her
also.
Beautiful song, her gorgeous song, come and stay with us. And
no, this is the family that you have created there, and I can never not mention Rosemary, your beautiful, wonderful wife. She is so special, and she's a very special woman.
She's very loving.
Yeah, and she's smart, but she's wonderful and adores your daughters, of course. They're lucky to have her.
And she believed in my dream.
Yes, you see, that's very important. She believed in your dream. If not, you couldn't have done this.
Absolutely.
No. So, hello, Rosemary, wherever you're listening. We're not talking about sex this morning. Don't worry. Had to get that in. But anyway, we thank you very much, Dr. Mencia. As always, let me give the phone number, please. It's 954-489-1345. Again, 954-489-1345. Anyone listening here, if you don't want
the dental department is open today.
Okay.
Dental is open.
If you are looking really for the finest medical care, I don't care where you live, you really should call them and go there. You can hear that he's been here on, for a couple of years now doing this radio show. You know him as well as most people know him. You're very fortunate, actually, out there to be able to have someone like this.
And you are my witness that we brought a topic, we felt that this was so important because some people say, do you use the show just to advertise? And we don't. It's to educate. But today we felt this is so important to give credit to everybody in the office.
It was. And the topic was tiredness, and maybe we'll catch that next time. We'll catch up with that. But thank you, Dr. Mencia. We're going to take a break. Then we're going to go to Tamika Bell, who is with, of course, the Broward County Transit organization, and that's a very important thing for the older adults to be able to get where they need to go.
We need Tamika to come to the office.
Oh, yeah. It's National Dump the Pump Day. Thursday, June 20th. That's a good name, isn't it? Okay. So we'll be right back. Thanks for listening to The Wonderful World of Wellness with Dr. Andy Mencia. Be sure to tune in each Saturday morning from 7 to 7:30 right here on WSBR 740 AM.